everybody, welcome to the weekend recap of Simply Bitcoin, where we go through the Bitcoin news, the culture, the memes, the fails, the whole 9 yards. Today we have a very special guest. As part of Simply Bitcoin, he just joined the legendary piratebeachbum. He is taking over the Simply Bitcoin Substack. He's going to bring you the most unfiltered pleb content ever. Definitely want to give it a subscribe. But anyways, Opti, it's time for the numbers.
Number 2.
Brought to you by Nodl. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes, like the Nodl One. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Dojo, and Whirlpool, all in the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're using someone else's. So get yourself a Nodl today. Nodl.eu. At the time of this recording, the price of Bitcoin is at $20,795. Sats per dollar, also known as Moscow time, is at 4,809. The amount of Bitcoin held in corporate treasuries is at 1,660,000 Bitcoin. Block height is 744,491. The amount of reachable Bitcoin nodes, it's down about 100 nodes from last time. It's about 15,906. And the total amount of Bitcoin issued is at 90.9%. Absolutely crazy. Good numbers overall. Moving on, got some interesting topics that I picked because Pirate was going to come on the show today. Let me share that real quick. All right, so check this out. Absolute clown worlds, more crazy shit. According to unusualwhales.com, 58% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, including 30% of those earning $250,000 or more. That's fucking crazy. According to Payments and Lending Club collaboration surveying 3,070 customers, it was found that millennials are the most likely to fall into the category of living paycheck to paycheck. But the greatest increase in consumers living paycheck to paycheck is among baby boomers and seniors, with 54% of baby boomers and seniors living paycheck to paycheck per generational divide data. And here's this cool little video by Adamo, Denver Bitcoin, and it shows what inflation really looks like, and I think it's across a time span of 2 years. I can't play the video because of copyright. I mean, I can't play the audio because of copyright, but let's check out the video. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh crap. Price. Holy shit. Okay, so for our audio listeners, gas prices since January 2020, 233% increase. Wheat, 111% increase. Corn, 103%. Cotton, 100%. Oil, 77%. Coffee, 57%. Sugar, 48%. Butter, 44%. Cheese, 30%. But the good news is that orange juice is at least 30% cheaper than it was 2 years ago. So connect this what I was talking about here. 70% of millennials live paycheck to paycheck. But like I always say, guys, if you have been saving in Bitcoin, it might be a totally different story. So, Pirate, is this sustainable, brother? Things don't look so good right now.
I don't think it is sustainable, and I don't think we've gotten to the worst of it yet, because a lot of the gas and energy prices, they haven't really been factored in, and they keep on going up almost like hockey stick. And so when you start to add all this stuff in, it starts to compound, because as you know, gas and energy are what it takes to basically do anything, to run any business. And so this is just going to spiral. And I'm not a doom and gloomer like some people, but like I feel like I'm a realist, and I just believe that probably around the fall time, we're going to really see a lot more pain. We'll see definite. I don't think it'll be death and destruction, but I think we'll see some real significant pain in the markets and in people's pocketbook, because people can't afford this. Like, no, who can afford $6-7 worth of gas, or $7 a gallon of gas? They can't. And unfortunately, the people that are hurt the worst are the people that make the least amount of money.
Absolutely, and you kind of connect that with the fact it's really tragic, especially for the older generation, right? According to that data by unusualwhale.com, right, 54% of boomers are living paycheck to paycheck. They're the people, what you said, they're the people that can't afford this type of situation the most, right? So anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts on this, my friend?
Man, I saw that chart today, and it's absolutely amazing how high the inflation has gotten. And furthermore, guys, remember how much they've gaslit us about the inflation, and the hard numbers are atrocious. And then just on the point of the baby boomers and senior citizens living paycheck to paycheck, first of all, that's absolutely like mind blowing that the baby boomers, the richest generation, are so over leveraged trying to keep up with the Joneses that they don't have any money left. And just to add a personal note, my grandma passed away a few years ago, and at the end of her life, she was one of these statistics where she thought she was, set up by the government, and her social security and all her Medicare was supposedly working out. And there was no money left for her at the end. So I can personally say, as an anecdote, that I've seen this happening, and it's incredibly sad. So to see it at large, man, it's just not looking good. It's gonna get really bad, like Pirate says, and all those people wishing for their government money at the end of their lives, it's just not gonna be there, and it's incredibly sad.
Yeah, and let me just go over some data in terms of the Bitcoin price, right? If we go back 2 years ago, we're in June right now. The price of Bitcoin in June of 2020 was at 9,000, between 9,000 and 9,000 US dollars, right? So again, I think that the highest percent increase there in those numbers was about 100%. It was, gas. Well, gas was 233, right? So again, life, we always make the argument for, right, is that life just gets cheaper if you save in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best savings technology there is. Yeah. Of course, there's some people that are gonna say, "Oh, wow, Bitcoin's down 70% from all-time highs." Perhaps the year-on-year volatility, it could definitely hurt, right? But you can't deny that on a 2, 3, 4 year time scale, just Bitcoin is just far better as a money, right? Anyways, Opti.
One thing I want to add.
Go ahead, Pirate.
Yeah, one thing I want to add is the other thing that will compound this is like 401ks have just taken pension funds, all those, all these retirement funds. They've taken an incredible beating, probably a drawdown of 20 to 40%, depending on what kind of stocks and bonds you're holding. So you add that, these are, the boomers slash senior citizens. These are the people that are living off fixed income. They've worked their asses off all their life, and they were just, they invested in all of these various stocks and bonds that were kicking off dividends, and all of a sudden they're seeing that their nest egg has shrunk by 30%. Now you compound that by rising fuel, rising energy, rising food prices, inflation on all levels. And to me, like, this is really scary. And like, I see it with my own family. Just like I have a step father-in-law who is retiring, and he's now saying, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to get a job." And like, here's this guy. Like last year, if we talked, he was excited about retirement. Within the last couple of months, like, he's stressing out, going, maybe I should stick around a little longer. And like, that's just not fair, and it's really sad. And this is just going to compound. So anyway, yeah, we're in a really interesting time, and it's going to be kind of scary watching it play out.
I absolutely agree. I think it's definitely scary. I think you could definitely hedge yourself a little bit, though, saving in Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is really going to show its benefits, its strengths, especially over the next coming years. But anyways, Opti, it's time for
the Daily News.
Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, like the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy. Comes in any custom color your heart desires. You want it in simply Bitcoin colors? You could do that. What about Peter Schiff colors? You could also do that. Take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. All right, so this news dropped last week, and I think it was, I wouldn't call it scary, but I would definitely say that the days of Bitcoin flying under the radar are definitely coming to an end. I think that regulators, because of all this DeFi, all this shitcoinery, all the scams, right, are really starting to focus on Bitcoin and shitcoins. And there's also collusion. They're working. Regulators from different international organizations are working together, which is really rare. I don't see that often, right? But I think it's happening because of the fact that Bitcoin and shitcoin and all these things are borderless. So anyways, let's check out some of this article real quick. I'm going to read some of it. Then I'm going to ask Pirate what he thinks. I always, Pirate always calms me down when I'm like, dude, they're going to ban it, and he's always like, Nico, this is what they want, right? So I definitely I value his opinion when it comes to this stuff. So anyways, let's check out this article. It's on law360.com. Name of the article is Global Securities Watchdog Charts Out Crypto Roadmap. A global markets watchdog said Thursday that it will deliver policy by the end of next year to help security regulators improve oversight of digital assets, focusing on crypto products and decentralized finance systems. The International Organization of Securities Commission said the reports will be generated by a fintech-focused force that was formed in March by its board of directors. The task force agenda will guide IOSCO policies for the near future. IOSCO ambitious roadmap will deliver the global policies needed by regulators to address the considerable risks arising from a rapidly developing, complex, opaque crypto asset ecosystem while preserving the societal benefits of innovation. Ashley Adler, IOSCO chair and the CEO of the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission, said IOSCO is developing its so-called roadmap at a time of unprecedented turmoil for crypto markets. Some crypto-focused lenders and hedge funds have filed for bankruptcy or liquidated, while flagship digital currency Bitcoin is down more than 50% year to date. So again, all the shitcoins, all the scams, all whatever, and what happens is that a lot of these regulators, a lot of these older people, they combine both Bitcoin and shitcoins, even though we know it's clearly different, right? But in the eyes of regulators, they don't see it that way. The project on crypto assets, which will examine the trading platforms for digital assets and the potential for market manipulation, as well as safekeeping and custody concerns, will be led by the UK's Financial Conduct Authority. Here's the signal, guys. The US Securities and Exchange Commission will lead work on the DeFi project, which will examine stablecoins, crypto lending, and borrowing platforms, as well as the interactions between DeFi and more traditional financial markets. Now, DeFi, we've always said, DeFi isn't really DeFi. It's centralized, right? So we've always said on this channel that it will inevitably be captured by governments. Same as stablecoins, and it's not a coincidence that the SEC is the one taking lead on the stablecoins, right? The US dollar is a global reserve currency. The US government has a lot of power because of that. It obviously wants to bring the stable coins under its vise, under its power, right? So that makes sense. But another thing that I want you guys to pay attention to, it's two different international bodies working together on this, right? UK taking care of digital assets, including Bitcoin, and the US and the SEC looking into DeFi and stablecoins. Both projects call for reports with policy recommendations to be published by the fourth quarter of 2023. IOSCO said it will consult with international bodies, including the Financial Standards Board, which issues recommendations on financial regulations. IOSCO, and here's another piece of signal, guys, advises global security regulators around the globe through non-binding recommendations. Its members include regulators that oversee some 130 jurisdictions, or 95% of the world's market. So it doesn't matter where you're watching this from or where you're hearing this from. That piece of news is most likely going to affect you. So, Pirate, what are your thoughts on this, bro? Like, what's going on here? Is this noise? Is this signal? What's going on?
There's two ways to look at this. Okay, so I hate regulation, and of course, it's always kind of scary because you've got a bunch of suits who are making policy decisions who are very uneducated. And that's never good. And you have personal bias injected. You have like the lobbying efforts of of various people with their agendas. So it's a lot of uncertainty. So uncertainty is what breeds fear, and that's what gets everybody's like, that feeling in their gut of like, oh shit, this isn't good. And it isn't good. I mean, I wish we could operate in a perfect world where, we were untouched and free market could decide, but in reality, that's just not how it works. So here's another take on it. This is inevitable. We've known this has been inevitable for years, and we thought it was going to happen. We thought we would see stronger regulation a couple years back, and we've just seen these like little bit of almost like kicking the can down the road. We'll see how this all plays out. But as we got into this last bull cycle, and what we've watched with the implosion of what is it, Celsius and Luna and all that crap, like there's a lot of people who are scamming, straight up scamming. And people have been scamming for years, but the scams are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, to me, like, this was inevitable, and this is like, there's no way to not have this critical juncture in the space that we're in right now. So, I think actually as we move through it, and hopefully it won't be as bad as we think it is, and as we get through it, I feel like it's going to open up way more opportunity for bigger entities to get into Bitcoin and these other various cryptocurrencies. And so to me, like, I kind of have an open mind about it. Of course I don't like it, but like we have no choice in this. It's going to happen. But the sooner that we can get through this and kind of figure out where, the cards will fall, I think there'll be opportunity in it. So in a way, I have to say, embrace the fear. It's normal for everyone to be fearful and to not like this. But like I said, we have no choice in this. They're going to do this no matter what. They're going to ramrod this shit through, and there's going to be shit that we don't like. But I also believe there's going to be some opportunities that stem from it. And who knows, this could actually have a positive influence on price. Now, worst case scenario, I feel like if out of all the different currencies out there, I feel like Bitcoin is probably the safest. So I'm more optimistic for Bitcoin's future, and less optimistic for some of these shadier projects that are literally just leveraged freaking scams. So I hope people see both sides of it. But like I said, we're gonna have to embrace the fear, and we're gonna have to roll with it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And just to reemphasize, right, like, they can regulate the on and off ramps, which is what they're going to do, but they can't regulate Bitcoin. And I think that what you said, Pirate, as this was inevitable, and as more and more regulation, comes in, as more people decide to opt out of, the traditional financial system, governments are going to capture anything that's centralized. That's DeFi. That's inevitably the stable coins, right? Anything that has a metaphorical head to chop off, they're going to inevitably get. It's just a matter of time. And I think that's where Bitcoin's decentralization is really going to shine. Anyways, Opti, you want to chime in on this?
Well, I really loved Pirate's very level-headed take of this on both sides, because it's usually not that level-headed. But I agree, man. Like, Bitcoin's hit the mainstream, and whether we like it or not, they're going to regulate it. Let's just hope that they don't over-regulate it and mess everything up around here. So that's the only thing I can add. You're muted.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Anyways, moving on to this next part. Definitely want to check it out. Pirate, he's writing for... He's not even writing. He's literally the lead of the simplybitcoin.news site, Simply Bitcoin Substack. He's been writing some killer articles. We've been promoting them, right? The Bear Market Diaries, or Pirate interviews real plebs, gets their takes, and that will definitely help a lot of you guys in, especially if it's your first bear market experience. And of course, he's been exposing a lot of the bad players in the space, and I think that's something that's unique to Simply Bitcoin. So I definitely want to cover this article. It's called "Stock to Flow is Officially Canceled," and I'm going to ask Pirate some questions about it. Obviously, I don't want to ruin it for you guys. I want you guys to read the entire article. It will be released this week, but I am going to go through some of the titles, or the I don't know, what would you call it, Pirate?
I don't know.
The paragraph, the headers, yeah, some of the headers,
Yeah.
right? And then we'll riff on that. We'll try to get through a lot of it, but anyways, let's get to it. So first header is called Exponential Growth Hopium. What does that mean, Pirate?
Well, I mean, in this space, or in Bitcoin, I hate the word space, but sometimes there's no other word that I can really call it. There's so much hopium being sold. Like, that's what every influencer, every company, they just want you to feel like you're going to 200 grand, $1 million. And you see all these people who making these like crazy bullish calls. And I'm sure at some point we'll get there, but I call that exponential hopium. And stock to flow was exactly that. And it was a very well orchestrated effort to push this idea of the stock to flow model, which in reality was a misapplication of the stock to flow that has been traditionally seen in other markets. And so when stock to flow, was being peddled on, by all the usual suspects, I mean, it was almost embarrassing. Like, and for me, like, I just looked at that and I'm like, man, like, of course, like, I got excited at first, but I was like, I want to hear this out. And the more that I heard it out, it really just didn't seem real. Like, it just was like, yeah, okay, that's nice. And then they would pull up these charts or these fancy colorful TA charts and be like, look, it's following it perfectly. And granted, it was totally following it. So that just kind of perpetuated the hype and the hopium dream. So that exponential hopium was just people as the price was going up. And there was a group of us, a lot of plebs, some bigger players in the game, who looked at this and just saw it for what it was. Now, there's always going to be, very eloquent bullshitters on both sides. And so, but for me, I looked at this and I was just like, this is dangerous. Like, I've seen this play out before in other cycles. And here we have all these people really pushing this stuff, and really they're just winging it and guessing it. And when everybody gets into that groupthink mentality and everybody's just like, we're going to 100K, we're going to 200K because, this person says so, and their graphs are so good, and they're on, 50 podcasts, and everybody's just, I mean, even down to one of the big influencers was shilling the dude's hats. And it's like, to me, that's exponential hopium. And that's what they're shilling. And I mean, of course, if it would have worked out, I would have literally said, okay, I was wrong. But that's my beef, is it didn't work out. It broke. And these people never like backtracked and said, oh, you know what, I was wrong. That was really bad. I got carried away, kind of thing. And that's kind of what the premise of the article is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think the next part, that the next header, is, it's a perfect segue for that. And I actually tweeted this out a couple days ago. The only people that got it right were the people telling you to dollar cost average. But even the people that got it wrong, they still got to keep their followers for all that, right? And the next part is called unethical silence. So I think you touched upon that a little bit. Pirate, why don't you elaborate?
Yeah, the unethical silence is exactly that. Like, there was a lot of very big accounts that are very well respected who, once the model broke, they just kind of like left it, and that silence is what really was upsetting to me, because what they don't realize is, like, there's a lot of people who are very naive and new to this game, and like, when you sit there and just consistently shill, this hopium of huge price predictions, it gets in people's heads, and people make like purchasing decisions based on it. And everybody's an adult, and this is the learning part of it. Everybody's an adult, and so they make their own decisions. But it's like, it's kind of reminds me of last cycle, where you just have, like, I call them the Pied Pipers. They're just playing their little flute, marching along, and all the kitty cats are right behind them. marching out of the city. But in this case, like, they're literally marching these people off a cliff. Now, if you bought, Bitcoin at 60 grand or 50 grand, like, and you have the ability to hold it, through this bear cycle, I mean, you'll come out on the other side fine. But let's be realistic. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that time. They need that money at some point. This was like, they were just looking to make some cash. And so when, you have price predictions saying 100K, 200K, like, you're just like, oh man, this model's perfect. And you have like huge accounts, like literally saying like, oh, this is perfect. And these people are heavy players in the game. And, they invest in all the Bitcoin startups. So they, people seem to think these people are credible. And so they follow what they say. And so when all of this imploded, I saw various, a couple people did admit they were wrong. But what they did was they also cherry picked the parts that were right and they tried to rationalize it. Whereas some people just went dead silent on it. And then you have some other ones who tried to explain it away and say, oh, yeah, this is just a black swan event. And this, the model would have worked out. And it's like, no, you can't play it like that, man. You were wrong. Like, just own it. Like, it's not even a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal that you're wrong, but like, I would respect you more if you just like said, hey guys, I was wrong. This just blew up and like, I fucked up. You know what I mean? And I learned a valuable lesson from this, and we can all learn from this. And you just didn't see that. And to this day, I still see people shilling that stuff and people still saying, oh, but it was such a great model. And all that is like indoctrination, in my opinion. It's the same indoctrination that you see on, political stuff, other stuff like COVID related stuff. It's the same indoctrination. Like, to me, it's like, I see how groupthink is a cancer in this space. And so that's what the whole premise of this article was, is to basically call it out. And the most importantly, I've got a group of plebs that are finding all the receipts and who are passionate about like these issues. And, I used to sit here and write a tweet, and a tweet is so small and people just would be like, oh man, you need to do more on this. And so that's what this is. I finally just expanded on my tweets, and I have a group of people who are helping me doing all the research for this. And so I'm not necessarily calling anybody out in particular. I'm basically calling out what happened, and then I'm providing the receipts and you can read it for yourself, and anybody with a logical bone in their body can look through it and be like, whoa, I never realized that like these people the circle jerk was like this invested together and they had this much power to manipulate the masses.
Absolutely. And you know what, I think you really hit the nail on the head, Pirate. And like from the beginning, we've tried to, on this show, stay the hell away from any type of speculation. And very early on, we were actually blocked by the creator of this whole thing. And because we took Corey's side, right, on the show. And Corey was calling out that scam from very early on. But it's funny, and the reason I'm saying that is to segue into the next point, is that the guy that I think he has like 1 million followers now on Twitter. He actually started monetizing from all those accounts. Pirate, why don't you touch upon that a little bit?
That was kind of one of the inspirations. Like, Corey is like, I like Corey because he has actually the stones to actually call out this stuff, and he takes a lot of heat, and he called it out, and he did a really good job. He's a very sharp guy. A lot of people didn't agree with him, and he was right. And and he actually posted a tweet showing how that the guy who created this whole thing, he's shilling exchange links now, and he's still like perpetuating this thing. He's still pushing it. Like, he's basically saying, oh yeah, it's broken, but the Black Swan event broke it. And I can't even take it seriously, because like, it was stock to flow, then it was stock to flow X when it started to, break down. And then like it broke down, and like the dude went MIA, and now he's back. And it's like, to me, like, this is a joke. Why aren't all these like big podcasters having him on and calling him out? Like, because that's like what real journalism is. Like, hey, what went wrong? It doesn't even have to be nasty. It just like where is the accountability is what I'm trying to say. And that's what this article is. It's about accountability. It's like, how can you guys just do this? And like, I guess that's my beef with all this. And like, I don't like to be affiliated. I like you guys and I like working with y'all because you guys don't make these same mistakes. You guys are pleb oriented. And so to me, like, I'm just a regular person who, you know, has been stacking Bitcoin for a while. And I've been through some cycles. I know a little bit more than I knew last cycle is all I'll say. I don't know it all. But the one thing I do know is I know how to spot bullshit. And to me, like, what I see is the biggest cancer and like the biggest problem in with this whole thing is the power of the circle jerk. And people think that's like a joke or like we're just being mean, and it's not. It's actually really, really dangerous. Like, these people, they literally will get these other people on their podcasts, and then they go on every podcast and they push these same narratives, and then people react to those narratives and they hype these people up, and then they're all just hyping this up. And then when people get wrecked, these people, like, they don't do anything. And then when the people who are wrecked are upset and start like getting pissed off about it and calling them out, then they're like, oh, they're mean, they're toxic. But it's like, fuck, you guys literally freaking drove these people off a cliff, and you don't even have the balls to like address it and be humble enough to say, hey, like, you know what, we screwed up. Or not, I mean, none of them, like, there's maybe a couple of them who kind of did, but even with that, they're like, oh, well, it got so many people into Bitcoin. Like, okay, so you basically are using a broken model and you're saying it was okay because it got a lot of people into Bitcoin off of a broken model. Like, how is that logical? Anyway, I hope I made my point. I hope that this article, that when people read it, they can see it for what I see it as. And I'm sure that there's some people who are still holding on to that model, but like, I don't care. Like if that's where your head's at and you're still like addicted to that hopium dream, that's fine, but you don't need that model. Like, everything you feel, like, we know Bitcoin is going to go hyperbolic at one point. And at the end of the day, or I'm sorry, parabolic, not hyperbolic. It's going to go parabolic. And so, like, you don't need that model to tell you this. So, and what I'm afraid of, and mark my word, we can just actually remember this from this podcast. I guarantee you, as soon as the market starts heating up again, these same people are going to be like, stock to flow is back on. It's back on. It's going to be like the Undertaker. You know how he resurrects himself. Like, because this is their grift. This is how they get eyeballs. Like, selling hopium makes these people money. And so to me, it's like, it's very nuanced, but it's so unethical. And it's sad to me that people are so sheepish and got so caught up in this. But I don't blame the people who got caught up in it. Like, they were feeling the vibe of freaking hopium.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a shame. I think, though, a lot of people that got into this are not going to buy into that the next time. I think what you're doing, Pirate, is just so important. Calling out, and I blame myself a little bit because a couple of days ago I was one of the people that was selling like Pirate. Like, holy crap, the amount of flack that we're gonna get from this is gonna be crazy. And Pirate really had to fucking slap me across the face over the phone and be like, yo, do you want to take a principled stance? What are you really in this for? And you know what? I really agree. I think it's really important to call out this bullshit for what it is, because if nobody does, who is, right? And a lot of people are really into Bitcoin for the fiat gains rather than the revolution. And I think that as long as there isn't principled people in this fight, I don't think it's a fight that we could win. So yeah, man, good stuff. The article is going to drop this week, guys. So definitely, you're definitely going to want to check it out. We're obviously going to promote it from our accounts on Twitter, from the Simply Bitcoin account. Opti, you want to weigh in on this, brother?
Yeah, man. First of all, I want to give Pirate a shout out for being one of the Godfather pleb OGs. He's been doing this forever. And guys, you definitely need to go read what he's writing. And secondly, you guys just gave me the chills, man. Like so much signal right there. I can't even recap what you guys are saying because it's just the vibe. But today I jokingly put out a tweet in the same vein of like the classic cliche AA line, like, you know, I'm an alcoholic and I did, hello, my name is Optimus Fields and I fell for the stock to flow hopium. So the joke is, guys, like, I am a bulltard. You give me some good hopium, and of course, I'm not going to look into it. I'm just like, yep, Bitcoin's going to the moon. Tell me about it. So I agree. We all probably got caught up in the hype, but I think Pirate makes like the most poignant point you can of like, look, we're all human. If you mess up, acknowledge it and just keep it moving. Like sweeping your mistakes under the rug is why people call you out and why your reputation takes a hit. So lesson there, guys.
Lesson, but I want to give Simply Bitcoin some credit because we have never speculated on this channel and we have never told you any time where we think the price of Bitcoin is going to go. And the reason that we decided upon that very early on is because absolutely no one knows where the fucking the price of Bitcoin is going to go. So to toot our own horn a little bit, Simply Bitcoin got it right because the only thing that we advocate for strongly on this show is what Odell always says: stay humble, stack sats. That's really how you win here. Everything else is a gamble. So yeah. But anyways, Opti.
I got one more thing I wanted to add real quick.
Go ahead, Pirate.
So real quick, I'm nobody special. Like I'm not here to get clout. I'm not here for any of it. And so to me, like if I upset some people, I just don't care. Like I really don't. Like I'm not here to try and shit on anybody, but what I'm trying to do is provide some signal that's like from a regular hardworking person who has been manipulated myself in the past, like previous cycles. So that's where this comes from. Number one. Number two, I'm not upset. I get it. Like Opti, like, you know, I love bullishness myself. Like what I was trying to say is I didn't need stock to flow to make me bullish is what I'm trying to say. And so anybody who got sucked into stock to flow, like it's really not your fault. But like if you choose not to learn from it and you do it again, then it is your fault. And you've got to realize that like Bitcoin, and when you start to see exponential growth in something like we just saw in this last, bull market, it plays with your emotions. It does. Even me, like it plays with everyone's emotions. So when you start to feel that way, you got to understand that like, okay, we are kind of in dangerous territory. And so the people that start really just like banging a drum and like almost like and putting people into a trance almost like and marching them off the cliff, like I was saying, like those people, in my opinion, are dangerous. Now, if, like I said, if they would have come back and they would have owned it and they would have just like fessed up, I'm like, cool, man. Like we all get caught up, and I respect that so much. But that's the problem. None of them did that. And so when this was all going on, when stock to flow, like, I don't know, there was a few of us like plebs and some big follower accounts who would, talk smack about it. But like I'm kind of a person who likes to joke. So like I just came up with the sack to flow. And that was like, that's where I came up with the idea that when my balls tingle, like the price goes up. And all I would literally do is like, I'd read news, I'd look at the market and I'd be like, hey, my balls are tingling, and the price would go up. And I was right 90% of the time. And like the stock to flow people would get so mad, but I would use that to mock them because I thought that was so stupid. Like I just thought I just could feel that there was something wrong with that model. And then also reading a lot of the people's rebuttals, Corey's stuff, there's a few others that did really good jobs. I quickly realized that, this is really just a hopium cocktail being sold to people. And so I started speaking out against it. And I took so much heat, and the other people that were with me, Dieter, there's some other people that took a lot of shit. And so this isn't a victory lap for me. It isn't a victory lap in any way. It's more about like, you motherfuckers were wrong. You have no backbones because you won't admit that you were wrong. And because you won't say it's canceled, I'm going to come out and say, you know what? Stock the Flow is officially canceled.
Opti, it's time for
The Daily Fail.
Brought to you by Swan. Check them out, swanbitcoin.com. The best way to build your Bitcoin stack. They've got automated Bitcoin savings plans, instant purchases, an app that's coming out. It is a stacking platform by fellow plebs. Check it out. The link is down below.
All right, what's up, guys? You already know it's Opti. I'm here to take over for Phil today, so I'm doing the fail. And this weekend, we had an update on a fail that we covered a few weeks ago. So I'm going to cover the beginning of the fail, and then I'll give you the update, and then we'll get into some more stuff. So here's a tweet that we covered last week or 2 weekends ago. Here's the CEO of CoinFlex.com. And this is, of course, the whole Roger Ver debacle with CoinFlex. This whole thread basically saying that Roger Ver owes CoinFlex $47 million. He got liquidated on his trading margin call. But we went over that a while ago. So this weekend, we got an update on what happened, or at least from the CoinFlex site. But there's some signal in here for a complete fail. But I really like this very beginning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we're in this situation. It just reminded me of the South Park, I'm sorry. Anyways, as they say right here, one of the main reasons for their lack of response in the last 2 weeks is that they've been looking for companies/partners to invest in CoinFlex and have often been under NDAs with them. So their aim now is to be as transparent as possible going forward. So here we go. How did they get into the situation? So you can see there's been a lot of commentary on social media around this subject, but it's while we're summarizing our position on the matter. Here in this update, they didn't name Roger Ver, but everyone knows that they're talking about Roger Ver. And they go, a large individual customer had a written manual margin arrangement with CoinFlex. Unlike normal users who are automatically liquidated when their margin ratio goes below our minimum requirements, users on manual margin have a grace period to send more collateral in support of their positions prior to it being liquidated. The customer's privilege came with the requirement that the customer personally indemnifies us for shortfalls in his account following the liquidations of his position. It's a very important point right there. Unfortunately, this customer failed to honor his obligations pursuant to his agreements, and their lawyers have taken action. So, as we said, the first time we covered this, they estimated that Roger Ver's liquidated collateral was around $47 million, and that's what he was owing CoinFlex or per this contract. Well, over the weekend, they finally fully liquidated this position, and it turns out that this liquidation created, as you can see, a final deficit of $84 million for this account. So the individual first asked us to liquidate his account, but then continued to tell us for some considerable time afterwards that he wanted to send significant funds to the exchange to take physical delivery of the futures position. It is clear to us now that he was wasting time and hoping for a bounce in the market that never materialized. We tried to liquidate his account in a prudent manner using counterparties on the exchange, but as the positions were so significant, they involved slippage as any large or series of large orders would reasonably create. Guys, remember how many times Nico and Phil have told you on the show about illiquid shitcoins? This is what happens. So throughout the process, we kept the individual fully informed, and he had cooperated with us and promised to pay, yada, yada, yada. He broke his promise, and so now they're in arbitration to try to recover $84 million from this individual having a legal obligation. And remember I said the important part about personal indemnification. Sorry, Optimus can't read. But anyways, this contract he has makes Roger Ver personally liable for that $84 million. So not only is this a fail for Roger Ver, but as you can see right here, it's turning into a complete fail for CoinFlex as well. So how are they going to fix this? they're looking to raise significant amount of funds from their investors. So it seems like, get some more money from other people to pay out what you got going on right now. Yikes. So I don't know what this recovery value USD is, but apparently that's what they're going to use to improve our liquidity. Guys, this is horrible. And I'm not going to go into all this stuff, but if you read this, it's shitcoin things upon shitcoin things. And man, just don't put your money in shitcoins. I get frustrated when we talk about this stuff because we tell you guys every single day about this exact scenario, and just stay humble and stack sats. But just to talk about Roger Ver, guys, it's interesting to see how far he has fallen. The once touted Bitcoin Jesus, the now Bitcoin Judas, and now potentially, even lower than that, guys. And so we don't just tell you guys to stay humble and stack sats to push the party line. It's the safest and best way to survive this Bitcoin market that we're in. And this is the name of the game, guys. It's survival. You do not want to be in this position where you are a once freaking huge mega whale Bitcoin holder and then you just completely get wrecked, guys. Bitcoin derangement syndrome is real. And Roger Ver is a great example. Nico, you want to throw some thoughts in here before I move on to our next ones?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. Is CoinFlex trying to blame it on Roger to deflect on what they are guilty of themselves? Because Roger basically says, no, I didn't do that. But I wouldn't move it past him either. This whole thing, though, could be avoided if you just take self-custody, which is what we advocate for so strongly on the show. And you'll just avoid all this mayhem. And this isn't, CoinFlex isn't the only one, right? We had, a multitude of exchanges, shitcoin exchanges and shitcoin services that rehypothecated everyone's funds. They use that to speculate themselves. And then when the bear market hits, they realize they're in problems. No, they don't have enough money to cover their liabilities, right? So how do you protect yourself from this? Just stay humble and stack sats. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. What's going on, Opti?
Okay, so Phil hit me to this article, and man, it's just so atrocious, guys. It's absolutely insane what shitcoiners are doing. So anyways, let me read this headline. It says, buy a Bored Ape now and pay later with new service for Ethereum NFTs. Teller's Polygon-based platform will let users make a down payment and take a loan to buy blue chip Ethereum NFTs. Oh my God. So the Polygon-based Ape Now and Pay Later service supports 10 notable NFT projects at launch. Ape Now, Pay Later. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So they're telling you, if you want to buy a Bored Ape Yacht Club and it's cost $100,000, the best way to do it is to put your NFT on layaway. I can't even make this stuff up, guys. So Teller's new NFT buy now, pay later feature is like those spearheaded by startups and adopted by major online realtors, albeit with some key differences. Yeah, I wonder what those key differences is. But guys, Ape Now, Pay Later. Literally, the fail is in the name itself, let alone this whole layaway your NFTs. It's absolutely amazing. But look at
let's talk about it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. Well, dude, what the fuck was that?
Dude, collateralize your NFTs. Like, what?
Yeah, if you want to know why all those platforms have blown up, there you go. Like, it's shitcoin upon shitcoin upon shitcoin collateral. Listen, collateral's only good if the collateral's worth something, right? If it's worth nothing, that's literally a recipe for disaster. Total freaking clown show. I think this is not going to be around. I don't think NFTs are going to be around next cycle. I'm calling it right now. I think there are the ICOs of the 2020-21 bull market. I think we'll look past this and just be like, those were definitely the ICOs. Not to mention the regulations that I was talking about near the beginning of the show, right? So yeah, I think this stuff will be gone. Stick to Bitcoin. But anyways, Opti, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Citadel 21. They make the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by actual Bitcoiners. This is artwork for Volume 10. This is artwork for Volume 11. And this is artwork for Volume 2. Volume 2 is almost sold out because there's only 1,000 physical copies made per volume. So get your prints of Citadel 21 today before they run out.
All right, guys. The first meme here is by Lena Sichet. And you guys know she's been killing it. All these memes that she creates by hand are absolutely awesome. And we've been saying for a while, as you guys see at the top, bear markets are for building. And she's got this really cool meme right here, and it's based in Bitcoin Beach. So here's the bull market. There's a chart about global adoption. Everyone's bullish. It's looking really sunny. It's warm. The price is going up. There's exchanges and lending houses, and everyone's looking cool in the sun. And then the crash comes, and global adoption signs broken on the ground, and the ASICs are on fire, and the exchanges buildings are broken, their signs are destroyed. And then the bear market comes, and they're building it back up, and they're happy, and they're building because Bitcoiners build in the bear market. And then the bull market comes, and look at this. Bitcoin Beach is a freaking future utopia over here with crazy bubble places. I don't even know what it is. It's gonna be cool. Bull market, let's go. Some hopium. And here we go, guys. I forget who this guy is, but this is a classic meme template. And honestly, it weaves in perfectly with what we said in the numbers. And we didn't even organize this. This is just how it works. So it goes sustained. Oh, wait, actually, before I do that, it was a response to Lynn Alden. And like Nico always says, the power of memes to condense information. And here we are. Lynn Alden does 4 tweets of whatever, like 7,500 words or some crazy stuff. And someone drops a meme. Sustained high energy prices are destabilizing the fabric of society, and very few people seem to notice. Anyways, have a great weekend, everyone. And then one by Rothmus. Of course, we're going to add some Rothmus stuff in here. And it's the NPC, the freaking destroyed NPC and the girlfriend meme. And it goes... It's the
IRS. The girl is the IRS.
Yeah. But this guy is like
okay.
NPC. Yeah. So, the girlfriend is IRS and goes, babe, it's the end of the year. Time to give me more than 40% of your earnings or I will throw you in a cage. And then the demoralized NPC, yes, honey, extortion is okay because you will build roads and help the poor. We live in a civilized society.
Now, I just want to preface go back, that everyone pay your taxes, but we still believe that, man, what the fuck? We have rights to criticize how the system works, and it's just absolutely crazy that, in the higher tax bracket specifically, it's 39.5% if you live in a zero income tax like Florida. But if you live in New York and California, holy crap, it's even more. What do you get for that in return? Seriously, what do you get for that in return, right? I just wanted to point that out. But still, color within the lines. I just want to emphasize that.
You get the roads, Nico. Come on. My roads. And then this one by @the BTC Therapist. The classic take of the Dunning-Kruger effect, but path to Bitcoin maximalism, where the y-axis is confidence, the x-axis is competence, and this is just a journey of every new Bitcoiner. You come in, you're super high and mighty in crypto land, and then you crash, and you realize you don't know anything. You discover Bitcoin, you start self-educating, you buy Bitcoin, you're hardened through the bear market, you're teaching Bitcoin, and the end of the road is always being a Bitcoin maximalist guru. And then this one, hold on, let me recap this. This one is hilarious because, as we always tell you guys, just DCA. It's the way. Why are you guys trying to trade? Just buy Bitcoin every single day. Anyways, this one is by Alan B. Watts, and it goes, trying to time tops and bottoms trading Bitcoin. Oh, so good. All right. And the last one, this one's by @sublime_creates. And this is what we tell you guys all the time. This is a Bitcoin maximalist journey in a nutshell. And it's years of hard work stacking sats. This guy's a blue collar worker, and then hours and hours of research. Look, he's smoking cigarettes, all tired late night after work, trying to learn about Bitcoin. And then, of course, Bitcoiners, we're not buying Lambos. We're driving cars that are older than Bitcoin in our literal empty houses because we're minimalist, because we need to stack more sats, and we sacrifice all this stuff for more sats for the future self. And then freaking NPC bro comes around and says, you got lucky, bro, when Bitcoin starts pumping. And we have Pepe One Punch Man like, yeah, shut up. Like, get out of here, guys. Again, you deserve this, guys. If you hodl in the bear market, through all the people hating on you, calling you an idiot, all the FUD, and you continue to double down your education, this is the feeling that you have at the end of the journey when you kind of, everyone gets that like, okay, hey, a little I told you so. So One Punch Pepe.
One Punch Pepe. That's right. That's right.
Anyways, Nico, you want to add some 2 cents or go straight to the meme reviews?
I say you rate the meme, brother.
Let's go. All right, guys. So I have today for my meme review score this really awesome coffee cup that my roommate has that I'm literally stealing from him because you got to believe.
You got to believe. It's true. Anyways, for those memes, Opti, I would give it a Simply Bitcoin sticker. That's right. We have stickers. We have merch coming in soon, too. Anyways, guys, we want to know if you agree with our scores. You disagree. Let us know down in the comment section. Comment. Make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms like rumble.com, our personal favorite, bitcointv.com, and join our Telegram group. It's a party in there. You could link us some Bitcoin memes to review so we can review them on the meme review. And if you're listening to the live Twitter Spaces audio version of this show, make sure to stay until after the show is done so you can hang out with Opti and Jacob from Swan. It's going to be awesome. But anyways, Opti, there was an open source software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software release.
Brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out, cyphersafe.io. We're not using paper. I don't think David's using paper. I know Nico's not using paper. Store your seed in steel. You could store your seed in the Cypher wheel or the all-new Cypher grid. They both come with a tamper-resistant wire, and the grid comes with a punch tool.
The software release for today is Bitcoin Pay Server version 160. It was released today. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's an open source pay invoice thing. So essentially, if you have a store, an online store, you could plug in Bitcoin Pay Server and it allows you to get paid in Bitcoin and has all the UI, has the interface, but it's open source. So a lot of the KYC requirements that you would have using something like BitPay or something like Coinbase Pay or something, you don't have to use it with BTCPay because it's an open source software. Anyone could download it. Anyone could contribute to it. So it's really cool. In my opinion, I think it's one of the most important projects in Bitcoin. That being said, make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms like Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Fountain. We have Fountain. Check all that stuff out. I also want to give a very special shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor, representltd.com. Opti and I are wearing the hoodies. Very comfy. Comes in black. Opti has the black one as well. He makes Bitcoin merch, Simply Bitcoin merch. It's comfy. It's stylish. You can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off. representltd.com. Guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed our show, you know what to do. Smack that like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the plebe pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails from the plebe pleb perspective and the memes from the same perspective, definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin. And we'll see you tomorrow, guys, for a brand new episode.